Doesn't matter how many 100 videos I watched before going, whatever I thought it was, I was not even close. Il fallait arriver en premier en fait. In day 3, I wanted to kill someone. I wanted to quit. I was angry. I couldn't talk because silent retreat, you can't talk. But I was fuming inside. I was swearing inside me. I was not in meditation or bliss mode at all. I was in so much pain and I wanted to quit. I understood at that time, at that moment, why so many people quit the Vipassana Silent Retreat. It really gets you out of your comfort zone. It was the most challenging, one of the most challenging experience I ever done. People left day 1, day 2, day 3, and the group kept reducing. And I now understand why I watched many videos before going. As I was preparing, no matter what I watched and whatever I thought it was not even close to what the Vipassana Silent Retreat was. This is not a video that I'm gonna dilute down to 10 minutes. It's gonna be a long video, so take a cup of coffee or save it for when you have time, because if you want to go to a Vipassana Silent Retreat, then you want to listen to what I have to say. You want to listen to my experience. A lot of people think they can do it. They think if I manage to do it, anyone can do it. Let me tell you what happened during my 7-day Vipassana Silent Retreat. In many occasions, I cried without knowing why. During yoga, during walking meditation, I had visions I couldn't explain. I almost left in day 3. More than 10 people at that point had already packed their bag and silently leaving without saying a word. And I could understand because I was next. I could feel the pain because I was also in pain. I so wanted to leave, but I stayed, and it became the most painful, but at the same time, the most powerful and healing experience I have ever experienced. At some point when you're really deep in connection with yourself, I could see the path where I was walking without needing to open my eyes, because I could see with my eyes closed. I believe everyone should experience at least once in their lifetime. The weather, we live in the UK, in a tent, in a field, and the weather was cold and brutal, okay? Oh my goodness. One of the worst things during that retreat was to crawl out of my tent every day and crawl into the wet grass, and it was raining and extremely cold. The bell was ringing every morning at 4:30 a.m. and I was already awake because it was difficult to comfortably sleep in that tent. Every day I woke up with water in my tent, with my clothes completely wet, and it was already extremely cold outside. So imagine, it was something. But I have to be honest with you, it was really hard and challenging. People kept leaving. We started at 50, and because suddenly the person you had sitting next to you was not there anymore. Although we were not talking, that's the most amazing thing. We were still getting to know each other and building camaraderie, even through the silence, because you knew the person that was sat at your left, at your front, at your right, at your back. I had a lady on the front of me and I couldn't see her the next day, and I was just looking for her hair because all I could see it was her hair, right? I knew the color of her hair, which hat, which coat she was wearing, because every morning at 4:30 the bell was ringing and we had to go out with everything, like our coat. First it was completely full, and by day 3 there were holes everywhere on the meditation yoga mats. It was not just physical, it was emotional and spiritual. I don't know if I will be able to express everything. Bear with me. I know a lot of you wanted to know the story, me to tell the story straight away, but there was so much to unpack, so much that I was trying to understand myself that I couldn't do the video. It took me a week. I was trying to record the video, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. So much stuff, because when you enter into a deep meditation, you transcend. It's at some point when I was in deep meditation, because you are advised to, not only we were barefoot, but we were also closing our eyes when we were walking in the field, the walking meditation. And at some point when you're really deep in connection with yourself, I could see the path where I was walking without needing to open my eyes, because I could see with my eyes closed. This was just incredible. To remember that we sat for at least 6 hours and 4 hours of walking meditation. So 10 hours we were doing walking meditation, or we were sitting in silence for all these hours. It's crazy. It was a crazy experience. The thing is, your mind will keep talking, your mind will keep thinking, and that's normal. It's the job of your mind to keep talking and to keep telling you things and etc. The weird thing that happened to me during the meditation is, so I'm there meditating, going really deep, but at some point I'm deep in a meditation and I have the most random song coming in. Celebrate your time, come on. I'm like, what the heck is that, And I'm trying to recollect myself, and rising and falling, rising and falling. I say that inside myself. Rising is when, you inhale. We're advised to repeat it in our head as a mantra to keep us in the meditation. And so I'm there. And then now it's a French song that comes. Là-bas, là-bas. I'm like, Jean-Jacques Goldman. I'm like, what the heck? So I try to concentrate again. That was during day 1, day 2, day 3. And I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't concentrate long enough without the song coming in my head. Là-bas, na 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 na. And then those random songs will just come in my head, and I was like, wow. At the end, when we had the talks and everything, everybody talked about what happened to them during the meditation when they were trying to meditate. One woman was just thinking about sausage. We had only vegan meals. We only ate in the morning and at lunchtime from 11:30 to 12, and nothing else. In the evening we had tea. Guys, there were moments where I was asking myself, what am I doing here? What the heck am I doing here? At the beginning, I couldn't even understand and comprehend what they were saying. Because in between the sitting meditation, we had some teaching as well. So the teachers would come and tell us about Vipassana, the practice, the Buddhist practice, and why this practice was very important for us to stop the suffering, and the fact that the suffering that we live in our daily lives come from our mind, come from taking things too seriously, come from living in the past and in the future and not in the present moment. And during the 7 days, we were encouraged to stay in the present moment and to not think of things that don't exist, because the past is gone, the future does not exist. It's just our mind making stories. And one of the teaching was to, when you are in the meditation, the mind will come and try to distract you and talk to you, is to hear, to acknowledge that the mind is there talking, to detach yourself from the mind. You are the entity above it, looking at what your body is doing. I'm not explaining it even well. Like, okay, I've seen you, thank you for your concern, but I'm okay, I don't need you, right? And then you continue. But to not participate to whatever the mind would try to tell you, because the mind will come, you shouldn't be here, and you're diabetic, you don't know, something could happen to you, and what happens at home, and then you go in that, start going into a frenzy and making a whole movie in your head. The teaching was to not participate to all of these talks, whatever the mind was trying to tell you. And then you have nobody to talk to, right? Because you cannot talk to anybody. You have to keep silent. This pushed myself to some limits, okay? At some point, because I was anyway the last tent, I couldn't help it. I broke a little bit the code somehow, because like sometimes, in the tent, bugs will enter in your tent. One of the principles is you should not kill anything, anybody. So even if there's a bug that's there annoying you and biting you, you cannot kill it. But my survival mode, sometimes there was like an insect that was there in my tent, and I would like, please leave me alone. And then I remember that, oh my goodness, silence, don't talk. Guys, this retreat really pushed every limit. For somebody like me who's not active, who's always at home, it really pushed every limit. Spending all that time not being able to communicate with anybody. You were even told to not look at anyone. Like, we were not allowed to have eye contact. When we were passing each other in the ground to go to the toilet, to go to the even when we were eating at the table, we were not looking at each other. You were looking at your plate or looking on the front of you, but not communicating with anybody. So we spent all that time with people, but never spoke to them, never heard their voice. And spending all that time just connecting with yourself force you to face yourself. You had to confront then your own thoughts, your own fears, your memories, your hope, your pains. I'd like to touch up a little bit about the teaching, because the teaching was really profound. Guys, I won't be able to do justice, but I will do my best to try to say what I wrote down and try to convey that to you. The foundation of Vipassana is to live in the present moment, is to observe without reacting. The observe is like when the mind comes and tells you something to trigger you. is to observe what the mind is saying, but to not attach yourself to it, to whatever story. Or if somebody is triggering you at home, in the office space, is to see what that person is doing, and it's not that serious, to not attach yourself to it, because there are very few things in this life that are that important, life-threatening. But we are prone to negativity and to get overwhelmed by everything and anything and take it personally, right? We are triggered by so many things. The practice teaches to really be the observer of your life, like a outside entity that observe whatever Jay's is doing, When you live in the present moment, your mind doesn't have the time to wander and go elsewhere. Your mind has to be present, because when you are present and being intentional about and being attentive about everything that's happening right now, you cannot be in the future or in the past. You are present. You learn to observe your thoughts, not to become them. I don't know for you, but I like living up there. I often have like a parallel life up there where I'm dreaming about whatever scenarios happening in my life, and I'm just sitting there. I'm not present. I'm somewhere else. What I did love is like the teacher was so humble, you would say they should be so humble, and both of them. You learn to step back from the chaos inside your mind and just sit with it. The practice teaches to realize you are not your pain. You are not your pain. Let me tell you a story. I told you by day 3, I wanted to leave. I wanted to scream. I was so angry at one of the teachers, because at some point during the walking meditation, guys, during all that time, I had a excruciating back pain, mainly when we were doing the walking meditation for 45 minutes. And we did 4 of them per day. My back was hurting. At some point, I saw a lady a bit older than me, laying down after maybe 30 minutes. She was stretching or doing something. So I did the same. I went to sit, and I also did copy there and pretending that I was trying to really also meditate, but she was meditating. And the teacher comes at lunchtime and tell us we are not allowed. It's disrespectful for the temple to... And I know he was talking to me. I got so mad because I was in pain. How could he? I couldn't talk. All of that talk was in my head. I went into like a monologue in my head. How could he? I was cursing at him. How could he? I'm overweight. My pain, my back hurts so much. I'm so much in pain. I'm so much in pain. I'm hurting. How can't he see that I'm in pain? And I'm 2 times or 3 times bigger than everyone else here. He should understand that I need more support and etc. I was like me, poor me, mia. I was crying in my head. And funny enough is, after lunch, we had a teaching, and the other teacher came, and he was like, I'm paraphrasing, you have to stop to identify with your pain. He explained how it takes time, even for the Buddhas, when they're sitting for hours, 10 hours straight, or when they do 21 days meditation and they sat for 2 hours straight without moving with their leg crossed. They have pain. They say, he was saying, do not identify with your pain, my pain. Instead, and again, that technique is to say, I see pain, there's pain. Observe the pain, but do not react to the pain. Do not give energy to that pain. While he was talking, I was like, okay, the other one went to tell me, they're talking about me again. Still me, the ego, because we are so egocentric. Whether we believe that or not, when I was there, I realized how egocentric I was. It's crazy. Funny enough, that was day 3, right? The next day, guys, during the next walking meditation, I had gave myself a pet talk saying, "You're here," because I wanted to leave. "You're here. You came for something, and you're gonna finish the retreat. And you're gonna learn and hear what they're saying." Guys, because until day 3, whatever they were talking about, I didn't understand. It's like rising and falling. What the heck is that? What is he talking about? For me, it was gibberish. It was, what is he talking about? What is this? Where am I? The first 3 days, I was just in that. But for some reasons, on the 4th day, things came into place. Whatever I had learned from the beginning, or so that I couldn't understand, I could understand. So when I went for the walking meditation, guys, I felt the pain coming. Usually after 15 minutes, the pain was becoming stronger. The technique where you observe the body, okay? Standing, walking. So I was being intentional and feeling and observing every movement, feeling every movement that I was doing. The pain is there. I know it's there. I acknowledge. I note that the pain is there and putting it aside and continuing, just being present in the movement, not giving life to that pain, not acknowledging it, not taking ownership of the pain, right? And guys, it worked. After a while, it was like the pain is there, but you don't feel it. I used to have a lot of migraines. And before the migraine came, I could feel it coming, but it was not present. Or like when you take maybe paracetamol for, I don't know, something, it will mask the pain, but it's there. And you can feel its presence, but it's like in endormi. It's like it's subtle. And then from day 4, guys, I was in the practice. I started taking my book and writing during the lessons because I had understood now why I was here. I understood the teaching. I find it powerful. I find it. And all the vision that I told you I had started in day 4. When suddenly, because now I was into the teaching and I was into the practice and I could really go in deep meditation, guys, I was floating, that there was so much happening, so much vision coming around. At some point, in one evening, I had like an attack, something, a spiritual thing coming to me, but I didn't, participate in that. I did not. I acknowledged that it was there. I noted that it was there. I knew it was there, but I didn't take ownership. I didn't participate, and then it went away. And the teaching is that we are carrying so much. We are so much in pain because we are living in the past and we are fearful for the future. Vipassana really teaches you to come back to now, to stay in the now, because that's where peace lives. When we were about to go home that evening, I could not concentrate because I was already in the future, thinking about the house, thinking about going back to my life, to work, I started being agitated, and then I had to recollect myself, and I'm in the tent. I'm in a beautiful park. I'm in the Vipassana Silent Retreat. I'm safe. I'm good. And to come back to now, it's where the healing starts. So here I want to talk to you about the people. Guys, So we started at 50 people, no word, no eye contact. But somehow, guys, we created a community. It was amazing that without talking to people, without looking at them, without hearing their thoughts, without, we judge by how the person is talking, what they're doing, etc. There was nothing like that, but somehow we became a community. Guys, we were holding space for each other without saying a word. I know I'm overweight, so these toilets were very narrow. So when I was coming through, and I was, you will meet people along the way, you're moving, go to the toilet, to the shower, etc. Everyone was holding space for me, moving aside, waiting. These are made for overweight people. This door to the toilet is so small. I have to come out and enter sideways and really squeeze myself in. No. Right, without never saying a word, or sometimes not even looking at. Sometimes we cheated and but most of the time we were just not talking, no communication. Guys, the love and the kindness in that silent room is something that I cannot describe. It's crazy how much love and kindness I felt all during that retreat, without ever talking to anybody. Guys, I thought people would judge me because of my size, but all I got was encouragement from everyone without even ever saying a word to me. I just felt encouraged. It was a smile, not even at looking at each other, but like when you're passing, you would see a smile, a silent nod, a shared pain. Because when we were sitting or doing the silent meditation, oh my God, you will see that a lot of people were struggling as well. And so, with that shared pain, even if we're not looking at each other, we know what we're going through. It was just amazing. On the final day, because yes, guys, I made it to the last day, day 7. So you can upload here. I made it to the 7th day. So we had those interviews. I couldn't talk, guys. Social anxiety, couldn't talk. But it was amazing to hear people's voice. When the first person started talking, it's like, oh, that's how you sound. Once we finished the recording, because they were recording it for the website as well. But now when we were like, people, when I opened my mouth and talk, accent, you have an accent. Yeah, because you didn't know how people sounded. And it was just great. The connection was instant, We were hugging everybody. We were hugging each other. We were like, oh, my neighbor, thank you for this, because several times at yoga was my worst nightmare. Oh my God. It was so painful for me to do yoga. My neighbor were helping me, either leave enough space for me, or if something fell, they will pick it up for me, etc., and put it on my chair. But it was just nice to talk to each other and to say, hey, how are you, etc. And the thing that was amazing when we finally were allowed to talk and share how was our experience, is when I discovered, and we all shared that, oh my God, I thought I was the only one struggling. Me, I was there in my ego. Me, I'm bigger than everyone. Like it's somebody's fault, right? I'm bigger than everyone and I'm struggling. I'm certainly the only one struggling. I shouldn't be here and blah, 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 blah. And everyone was struggling. That's where we heard story of, how I had like songs coming in my head all the time. And one was only thinking of sausage, She was meditating and it was like sausage in her head. She wanted to eat sausage. She's obsessed with sausage. Guys, this was the best birthday gift I could have given myself. I like to spend my birthday alone. And I was alone with myself, within myself, with my thought. And it was the best thing I have ever done for my soul, for myself, for my healing. You don't need to be spiritual. You don't need to be fit. You just need to be ready. You just need to feel the fear and do it anyway. You just need to decide to go and go with open mind and let yourself be guided. I'm a traveler. I go far in different countries to find myself. I went to India. I went to so many places to find myself, right? This was next door to my house. It's the place where I met myself without all the noise around, because when you travel, you are alone. But it was great to see how when you give yourself a chance to experience what you should experience, to not have any resistance, to let go completely and just feel and just allow life to take its course without you resisting, amazing things comes. So many of you asked me, would you do it again? And the answer is yes, next year. I'm already planning to go back. I don't think this experience is for everyone, but I think everyone should try it at least once in their life. Even if it scares you, especially actually if it scares you, because I was so frightened to go there. And guys, whatever I had imagined in my head, okay, it was nothing like what I imagined. I find the most grateful, the most loving, the most kind, and I'm talking about the teaching, the teachers, the cook, the people that were looking after us. So much love and kindness, even when they were torturing us. Whether it's for yoga or the sitting meditation. And the experience was really physically, emotionally, spiritually challenging. My body, guys, when I came home, I slept for I don't know how long, and my body was in so much pain. I don't know, I was bracing it. When I was there, I was just going through the motions. But when I came home, my body was so much in pain. My feet, my legs, my hips, everything, because I had to sit every day either on the floor. At some point, I was allowed to have the chair, but I was back and forth on the floor, sitting, trying to cross my leg, and I managed at the end to cross my legs. And I learned a lot of technique to sit, and the walking meditation as well. It was not what I thought, like when I went in the park and trying to walk fast, has nothing to do. It was a very slow pace. It was like almost slow motion walk, really like this, You lift your foot, you put it down, you lift your foot. But very challenging for the body, for the legs, Have you ever been in a silent retreat? Would you ever try one after what I've just told you? The preparation is not what... You saw what I've packed, right? And I didn't need half of what I packed with me. It was not necessary at all. I packed with fear of dying, fear of, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. And so I overpacked. I didn't need half of it. I learned so much about myself, how strong I am, how resilient, how capable actually I am. I've doubted myself so much before going, and I'm so proud that I made it to day 7 and I did the entire retreat. I came back with so much, guys. Even now I'm still processing. I have a friend who talks about, overthinking. I'll link her channel below. And I have another friend who talks about meditation, right? Her channel is about meditation. I'll also put a channel below. After the teaching, what they told us is, it's not you go home and you don't use whatever you've learned, right? You go back to step 0. The important thing is to continue having it in your life, to have it, install it as a habit in your life, to meditate daily and to keep that practice of being present. And mainly in the morning when you start with the meditation, you like setting the intention for the day. And guys, don't forget to share, like, comment, I can't remember what else, and share it with somebody that's burnout and maybe who is overwhelmed with life. And I hope the video can encourage them maybe to, you don't have to go to a silent retreat. There's a lot online of meditation or even Vipassana online. There's some people that do, where you can sit even an hour per day, right? Or 30 minutes per day into meditation.